Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me and coming back for a video. This one is all about, it's a card that's great for crafters. And most of us have mostly crafty friends, at least, online. At least I think so. But anyway, I'm going to be using some alpha dies, which I'm a huge fan, from Stamp Market, from Altenew, and I'm using the Hello from My Favorite Things. And what I'm going to be also using is Glossy Accents, Glaze, to put on top of the Distress Oxides, and because I don't like the way they feel. Now the Hello, I'm going to use Abandoned Coral, and Gal, I'm going to use those 3 colors, and the Crafty, I got 1 color for each letter. And I'll have all the colors listed below. So, starting here, I'm using my glass mat. It's We Are Memory Keepers, and I bought this when I first started crafting about 2 years ago, and it works great for blending. It's just so wonderful. So I just blend it on, and I'm using, believe it or not, I'm using cheap cardstock. I think it's from Michael's. It's 110-pound Recollections, and I'm just blending, putting down my colors onto my letters that I die cut off screen, and that's all I'm doing. And I'm just continuing here there was 2 different, I recorded and I stopped. And I started recording again. And what I'm doing is, I'm just adding colors to each letter. It's very boring stuff. That's why I'm just fast. I have it in super fast forward. I use my reverse tweezers. I love this tool. Use them all the time. Pretty much, I have to say on every card, I use my reverse tweezers. So this is one of my favorite colors, and I am surprised. It's like an olive color, but it's called Peeled Paint, and I totally love it. It's like an olive green. There's just something I love about it. Anyway, so yeah, now with the letters Gal, the letters from Altenew, I'm using I forget what colors. Yeah, again, I'll have them all listed below because I can't remember them all. There's quite a few. Alright, so moving on here. I realized that A and the F were too close. I used dried marigold originally, and it was a little bit too light. So I grabbed my carved pumpkin and just added a little bit to make it a little bit darker. So the A and the F were a little bit more different. A little more different. That's well spoken. Okay, so my Echo Park stamp set. I love this stamp set. I think it's wonderful. I got a couple extra I had given out because I think they're wonderful for fellow crafters. Anyway, it's the way it was laid out on the acetate, the way it was presented, I liked the layout, so I kept it. I just transferred it onto my Misti, and I used Simon Says Stamp Fog ink because it's nice and light, and I had to stamp it 3 times. I don't know if it's because of the cheap Michael's Recollection cardstock I'm using. It is 110-pound, but, whatever. I try to use this paper when I can because it's cheaper. And, why not save money if you can? I save my good Nina stuff for when I know I need good paper. Okay, so after I stamped my the gray portion of it, I took Scrapbook.com Ballet Slippers ink pad, and Hero Arts, I took the little dots and the triangles, and I put 1 dot on one side of the acrylic block and the triangle on the back side. This way I can just flip it over quickly to save time. Now zoom in a little bit so you can see better. And what I'm doing, I'm just adding a little bit of these designs into the open space so it doesn't look so empty. And that's it. I'm just flipping this over and putting down the dots and the triangles just so it doesn't look so blank. And then I went back. They have like 3 sizes of circles and 3 sizes of triangles. And I'm just switching out the sizes here. This is a great set by Hero Arts. I've used it so many times. It's so diverse. So, anyway, that's about it. And then I just finished that out. And that's it. Okay, I have the measurements. My card base is A2, 4¼ by 5½. The gray fog cardstock is 4 by 5¼ okay, which is a 1/4 inch smaller. Then the main panel with the arts and craft, the crafty design stuff, that's 3.75 times 5. So it's 3¼ by 5 inches. Oh, that was exhausting for my unmathematical brain. Okay, so I'm mounting it on the fog cardstock with using Tombow multi, mono glue, whatever, because it gives me some wiggle room to get it straight. And then I'm putting my final panel on my card base. And there you go. It's a top folding A2. Now, what you see here on the left is my, this foam, fun foam, I bought at the dollar store. And you can't always find it. It was like 3 pieces for $1. And it has it's supposed to be adhesive. The adhesive isn't very good. I always leave the backing on it, but it makes it, sometimes when you cut things out, especially scripty letters, they're like all wonky and it's hard to control. What I like about this foam is that it has an adhesive backer, which I leave on it. It's like, paper. And I don't even peel it off. I leave it on it and it allows me to have more control, like on the hello. Otherwise it would have been very difficult lining that up. Which, as you can see here, I still had a little bit of difficulty. With the glue, I use my multimedia mat, and I got it on there. Once I get it perfect, I put an acrylic block on it and allow it to dry. And I just continued on with these letters and foam. And, I wanted to spare you the boringness of, watching every letter. So I just cut that out. I grabbed my T-ruler because I was going to use that to line up my letters. And then I realized, what? I really don't need that because I'm going to use the letters GAL, G-A-L, line it across the bottom, and then go up from there. Right now, I'm just putting it down the words Crafty just to get an idea on my placement. Yeah. And anyway, so yeah. Then I'm going to take the letters GAL and see, how much room do I have. I don't want that hello to hang off the edge of the card because then it won't fit in a A2 size envelope when I mail it, So anyway, so I just went ahead, lined everything up, and once I had that, I always start with my center letter to make sure that I'm not too much to one side, and because I've done that before. Yeah. So again, as you can see, I left that little paper on the back. I not Dollar General, but dollar store. Every now and again, if you go, I used to go a lot. I used to live in New York, and there was one 5 minutes down the road, and I used to go all the time. So I was always finding stuff before I was even into crafting. But I always liked those foam sheets because my daughter would play with them and whatnot. So I always got them. But now that I'm looking for them for crafting, I don't see them as often, unfortunately. And the dollar store is much further away. So I don't go that often. But if you happen to have a dollar store, where you go in the store and everything's $1, look in the arts and crafts section. You may get lucky and find those sheets because I can't say enough good things about them. They die cut wonderfully, and with that paper adhesive backing, it makes it so much easier to control the foam after it's die cut. It's not, stretching out in all different directions, So I highly recommend it. I don't know the brand, but anyway, I think, it comes in like white, black, and red, or white, black, and blue, or something like that. Anyway, so yeah, I'm die cutting, I'm just gluing these die cuts down and using my acrylic block to make sure they get adhered properly. And yeah, then I'm just going to put the hello on there. And coming up soon, you're going to see a big mistake. I didn't edit it out because I like when other crafters show their mistakes and how they fixed it and what happened. I noticed on my T, there was a little mark, like it's hard to see from here, but it was like a little discoloration or something, like a fleck of color. I tried scratching it off, but it wouldn't come off. So I left it. I thought it would be okay. Okay, so I added the glaze because I want to put glossy accents on top, and I didn't want it to reactivate the pigment, you know, the ink. So I just put a little bit of glaze on top to make sure that nothing runs, everything stays the same color, and everything's safe. I keep my glossy accents in a fine tip bottle, and it's good, especially for like the hello. Yeah, see right there, I'm trying to scratch that little speck off the tea, and I can't get it off. Anyway, so I'm using my fine tip bottle for the hello, and I do drag it. You should squeeze it off into a napkin or something first, because a lot of times bubbles squeeze out, little air bubbles. Really annoying. Sometimes they're hard to pop. So I use the tip and I kind of drag it along, especially in the fine areas, the skinny, thin areas. And then what I planned on doing was using the regular Glossy Accents bottle for the letters. But as you can see, of course, because I'm filming, the dang thing got clogged. And it usually doesn't clog up on me. But wouldn't you know it, I'm filming and it clogs. So, Murphy's Law, right? If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. So, anyway, I stuck a needle in there trying to clear it up. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to keep on with this. It was annoying me. So, I said, okay, let me just use this. It'll take me a little bit longer, but that's okay. All right, so moving along. Like, okay, thinking in my head, all right, we're almost done. Just putting the glossy accents on. I'm thinking everything's fine. You know, the top of the L and the hello is just at the edge of my card base. That should be fine when I mail it. It doesn't stick up too much. And you'll see, as soon as I get to that T, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it if you look closely. See that little dark speck right below where the T crosses the top? You're going to see what happens when I hit it with the glossy accents. I'm going along, all of a sudden I'm like, it like, oh no, it like turned purple and it started bleeding like watercolor would do. And I'm like, oh my God. So I scraped off the glossy accents. It removed some of the Distress Oxide. I went and got one of my little finger dauber thingies. And when I did that, I got some of the green on the Y. And it was just, you know, look what happened. So I took a white gel pen and I tried to color in, it was like the foam on the side of the Y, got the green on it. You know, these things, nothing can go smoothly for me. So ultimately, it's not perfect. And I notice slight imperfections. I don't want to, I don't mean to, just my brain goes right to it. So I notice things. It really bothered me. I pretty much fixed the T pretty well. But in doing so, I screwed up the Y. You know, I was able to cover the top of the Y back with peacock feathers, okay, but that side of the foam got the green on it, and I did the best I could to cover it up with white, but you know what? Like I've heard people say, it's a handmade card, it's not Hallmark. It's a Calmark, it's not a Hallmark. So, anyway, it is what it is. So I kept on, finished the card, put the glossy accents down, and then I grabbed my Nuvo Morning Dew drops. I love these because they're clear, and you can make them whatever size you want. Added that, and that completes the card for today. So, thank you so much for stopping by. Here I am, I'm just tapping it to round out the dots. Thank you so much. It's really hard for me to make these videos. I truly struggle, and I really, really appreciate you coming by. See my boo-boo? So sad. So sad. Okay.